Hey, what's good, everyone? This is Quad B, formerly known as Bamboozled Black Baby Boomer, here with an impromptu live stream. Let me move my mic a little bit closer to my face because I've noticed that last couple of live streams, my voice wasn't as loud as it really should be. Let me move. Let me Whoops. Let me. I'm trying to figure this. I'm trying to figure this out, folks. There are way too many moving parts in OBS. Way too many. Way too many. Anyway, it is 12:26 p.m. On Saturday, June 9th, 2018, and I am coming at you, as you can see, by the big Capitol Dome to my left, coming at you from the DC Capital Region, the DMV, whatever you want to call it, District, Maryland, Virginia. And I'm just figuring I'm going to come at y'all. I think there might be some other folks going live too, so they may be over in they may very well be over there, and so I'm gonna do what I can here. I'm gonna do what I can here. Um, I'm trying to figure out how to get to remove how to remove this stuff at the bottom. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Uh, no, Angel, how you doing? No technical difficulties, none whatsoever. Um, what I first wanted to come on and talk about was the. Some of y'all know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a black man. I like basketball, but I was never that good at it as a kid. Never got picked on the playground. And then when I played, I usually played defense because I couldn't dribble worth a shit. Every now and then I could shoot a jump shot, and dunking, too short for that. But I also liked hockey, but that was another sport I never played, but I enjoy watching. And as you can imagine, folks around here are all geeked up because the Capitals, after 44 years, the Washington Capitals, after 44 years in the National Hockey League, they entered in 1974, have finally won their first Stanley Cup championship by beating this little upstart team called the Vegas Golden Knights. And the Vegas Golden Knights were a first year expansion team that somehow made it to the finals, and they beat the Capitals in game one. But by game two, the Capitals found their legs, and I said to myself, this upstart squad is going to come crashing back to earth because, frankly, I thought the Capitals were a lot more battle hardened over the years because they'd suffered some disappointment, some early boots from the playoffs and whatnot. And when they got by the Pittsburgh Penguins and then by the Tampa Bay Lightning to get to the finals, that would be the Capitals. I thought the Capitals are gonna gonna take it to these guys, and they sure did by winning 4 games in a row to win the series 4-0. You might recall I came on with a live stream a couple of weeks ago regarding the Stanley Cup championship, and I talked about a couple of brothers, some brothers on both teams who were competing to have their names engraved on this trophy. And it turns out one of them that I talked about will have his name engraved on that trophy, and that would be one Devonte Smith Pelly. Now, this dude here scored all of 7 goals as a winger. Um, One of those grinders, one of those defensive-minded guys who fills in for the so-called superstars like your Alex Ovechkins and Kuznetsovs and Nicholas Backstroms and those guys. But this dude, real here, he upped his game big time by scoring 7 goals, and the goals came at the most opportune times. Of course, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, any goal is opportune. But this brother here scored 7 goals, and to see him taking his turn to hoisting the cup warmed my heart big time. It really did. So he'll have something to tell his children and grandchildren about how he played hockey back in the early 21st century and won a cup with the Washington Capitals after having played for the Montreal Canadiens and the New Jersey Devils. Now, I made a slight mistake in terms of the numbers of brothers playing for the Capitals. There actually is one other one who I overlooked who played in the regular season, filling in for an injured player. This guy's name is Madison Bowie, and this is him. He's a defenseman. He plays on defense for the Washington Capitals. And yeah, he plays on defense. He played a few games mid-season, but didn't get any playing time during the playoffs, which I know that probably kind of hurts. But I guess when you make it to the professional level, you kind of know what your role is, and I guess the only solace is when you're sitting on the bench, at least the checks aren't going to bounce. You're still getting paid far more money, well into into 6 figures, maybe 300,000-400,000 a year. This guy here was probably making, I don't know what he was making, to be honest, but it was well into the 6 figures once he made it to the show. He was called up from a minor league team in Hershey, Pennsylvania, known as the Hershey Bears, and they've been affiliated with a number of NHL teams back in the day. But this guy here may have his name engraved. That's Madison Bowie. So, but just to say congratulations to the Capitals, and I hear there might be a parade Tuesday. There may be a parade on Tuesday in D.C. And of course, I'll have to work down in D.C. So it'll be interesting to see what streets are closed off, what the parade route will be, and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, just wanted to also come on and talk about a video I uploaded this week that had to do with a new town, a new city that was created in Georgia back in 2017. Well, actually, the legislation was signed in 2016, but the city got going operationally in 2017, and that would have been the city of South Fulton, Georgia. And I have to say that the city of South Fulton, that the city of South Fulton, Georgia, is let me go look. Let me look for it. Is an interesting creation because they took a picture. A local newspaper, black newspaper, took a picture of. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. And again, please forgive me because there's a lot going on with OBS software. Okay, let me meet the officials of the new black-run city of South Fulton, Georgia. And I'm having to having to turn off the sound. Let me, okay. So here's a picture of, here's, here's the picture of the 8 women who are, um, who are, let's see, let's see here. These are the pictures of the 8 women who are, who were pictured, and it created something of a very interesting discussion below between a couple of dudes that follow me. One is Willia 3R, and the other is a dude named Dollar Will, and they had an interesting back and forth. I'm gonna read it to you. First, Willia 3R says, honestly, I don't get why people have to make such a big deal out of this. The South Fulton municipality is a new city, not some old school Confederate stronghold that enslaved black people and kept them out of power. How is it really that important to know that a new city hired a bunch of black women? Oy vey. But I suppose it's due to a lackluster black media that no longer reports on hard-hitting news that can change lives. Now it's all TMZ, celebrity-driven, low-brow fluff. But hey, whatever. Good for the sisters, I suppose. And Dollar Will, who I've talked to on a live stream in the past and who's commented on my videos, said, it replied, I think it's important because the environment will be more in line with the people. The us versus them paradigm is lessened when we are on all sides. I enjoyed black power in D.C. and PG County most of my life. It makes a difference. You don't feel specifically under attack. When whites rule a black majority, it is unnatural if we exclude plantations. It's what true democracy requires. Then Willia 3R came back with great points. I just found it very off-putting at this point that there is still this illogical impetus to carve out a first in a situation where the whole city itself is literally a first. I don't recall there ever being an article referring to the city of Atlanta under Maynard Jackson as most black men hired to run things. No gender specific arguments was made when black men busted down the door simply because there was an unspoken implied truism that when black men win, everyone in the black community wins. Black people in Atlanta City Hall are eating off the legacy of Maynard Jackson. And it's not as if black men are bragging that it was the black man's sweat equity that made it happen, even though it's true. People simply take it for granted that black men are doing what they are supposed to do because they are inherently men. So why would black men make a gendered argument? It is simply the nature of men to take responsibility for the community. But what about the inherent responsibilities of black women to the community? Are we not supposed to ask that question? I am just fed up with this gendered feminist crap. Beyond fed up. It literally sickens me to my stomach. I guess that's what I'm saying. One of the questions I had asked myself when I started really following some folks on YouTube, because before 2014, I really hadn't messed with YouTube that much other than to, you know, upload my wife's school board meetings in New Jersey that were recorded during her meetings, uploading them to YouTube, especially one that was where a fight nearly broke out between two members of this board in New Jersey. That's funny. If you want to see it, it's on one of my old channels. But I really didn't mess with YouTube that much. Um, but I got to listening to folks like Jason Black and sometimes Professor Black Truth. Actually, my son turned me on to Jason Black, aka the Black Authority. One of the first videos I heard from him was called "The Stupid," or something like where he ranted about how the internet gives a platform to anybody even with an IQ below plant life. Hey, what it is, right? But I got to listening to him, and I got to seeing how he ran his page on Facebook, and how people who had somewhat dissenting opinions were kind of either thrown out or browbeat. And I don't know if it's the opinions or how they were stated, but I mean, it's his right, it's his page, and it's his right. And then it got me to thinking, um, if not so much of Jason Black, I kind of felt like if Jason Black were, if the Jason Black Facebook page were its own sovereign nation, I know what kind of government that would be. That would be definitely authoritarian, because there would be no room for dissenting opinions. Um, at least that's the gist I got. But then over the years, since then, I've gotten to thinking too about what if Black America were to become this sovereign nation, kind of like, okay, we have a little, there's a little a black run town in Georgia. But what if Black America became a, I don't know, a let me see, a sovereign nation? What kind of government would it have? Would it have a constitution modeled on what's here in the U.S.? Would there be a Bill of Rights? Would there be, free speech? Would there be a Bill of Rights? Would there be, you know, you know, due process? Um, when accused of doing something, doing a crime or whatever. I'm just wondering. It's just a question. I don't know. But I got to thinking, okay, let's just say, do a thought experiment. Let's just say that the U.S. and Russia and China and the rest of the United Nations Security Council and got together and said, okay, let's give these slave children, or children of slaves from America, their own country in Africa. Let's carve out something for them, just like we did for the Jews in Israel. Okay, my thinking would be that you would need a very strong but benevolent leader, and for such a country to get going, you would need people who are all about building and not a whole lot else. You would need, I would think the first thing you would need would be, here you would need your infrastructure, your water, your sewer, your electricity. You would need that first. Then you would need, your hospitals and clinics. Um, and if somebody wanted to come in and do business with this new black country, and I'm not talking about Liberia, by the way. Liberia, as far as I'm concerned, it failed. It was failed from the jump. Um, I would say that as far as this new country, defense would probably come from the U.S. We probably have our own token army and whatnot, but mainly for defensive purposes only, because we're not in a position to go around like invading our neighbors. Now there probably will be some resentment from some folks already there because this country was carved out for us. And I just got to thinking that this new country where people would build, it would have to be about building. Now, if anybody really wanted to start trouble, well, let's say not start trouble. Okay, maybe somebody would want, if there's a government, would we have an elected government too? That's the other thing. I don't know. Yeah, it does look like you're the only one here, but again, that doesn't bother me because people can find this on the replay. That's okay. But and then I didn't announce it, so it's Saturday afternoon. But my question is, what would happen to somebody if they started doing some dirt? If you had people who were trying to undermine the country, the building process, and this would probably take a good 20 to 50 years. My thinking would be, if I were in charge, that if you want to come over here to this new country, you're going to work. You're going to pull some. Don't worry so much about free speech and bills of rights and all that when we have an economy to build, when we have an infrastructure to build. Because my thinking would be, here's the main punishment. If you want to start some shit and go around robbing people or whatever, creating, or creating, I don't know, committing acts of violence against other people for whatever reason, my first thing will be, you want to start some shit? Fine. We're going to deport your ass back to America. Can you imagine that? Yeah, we're going to deport you back to the U.S. And whatever happens to you there, we really don't give a shit. Yeah, there's a scary thought. Okay, I'll straighten up and fly right. I don't know. It's just something I wanted to bring up. I've wanted to bring this up for a while. So if you have something to say about it, please do so in the comments section. Um, I don't see too many folks over here, but like I said, there's some other folks who are going live. And I'm not one of the biggest YouTubers out here for sure. I have, let's see, as of today, I had 198 subscribers. And I thank all the folks who subscribed recently. And I want to hopefully get back to doing these a little more often. I went out and I actually ordered some green screen equipment to try to upgrade the channel. As you can see, I'm trying my best to upgrade the channel, so that when people come, they'll see that Quad B is like trying to do something. And like I said, oh, and by the way, yes, donations are appreciated. I've gotten a couple over maybe a couple in the last couple of months, but fortunately, I still work. I'm still one of them guys that has to work full time for a living, so I'm not. I'm not as stressed for donate. I'm not really that pressed to get donations, because YouTube is not my career, but it does give me an outlet to say what I'd like to say, and hopefully somebody will get something out of what I say. But it's just something I was wondering about. If somehow Black America were granted some land in Africa, what kind of government would it have? And I'm sure I get a bunch of different answers. Some I hadn't even thought of myself. And again, this is just off the top of this dome, as opposed to that dome. um, but anyhow, I just wanted to get on here and holler at y'all. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll holler at y'all. I don't know if I'll be able to holler at y'all this weekend because I'm just taking some time out to do this because family's got to get the place this place I'm in ready or decluttered, if you will, because we've got family coming in from out of town tomorrow because my youngest child, my younger of two sons, is graduating high school this coming Monday, which would be June 11th. So we've me and Mrs. Bamboozled have gotten pretty much through the raising of children. Of course, you're never really done raising children. They're always going to be in your life. I mean, you've raised them, and they're doing their own thing, but you're still there to provide support, whether it's financial or moral. Hell, my own parents still have helped us out, and they're in their 80s. um, Blessing, and they're going to be here. God willing, they'll be here too. So I don't know what else I can say or do here, but it was just a question I had as far as what a black country's constitution or guiding document would look like in theory and in practice. And so, in any case, I'm gonna jump off of here. It's almost it's 12:52. This is gonna be a real short stream, but I wanted to just jump on here and ooh, wait a minute. I just hold on. I'm up here showing you the. Okay, there I am. I'm just showing. I keep forgetting that sometimes I'm in the studio version of OBS, and again, I'm still trying to get used to doing things this way. Um, the whole time I was showing you the card with my YouTube name on it rather than me. So, like I said, uh, I'm just coming off with questions off the top of this dome as opposed to that dome. Okay, there we go. That's what I wanted to say, but it turns out I was off camera. But that's about it for now. Again, if you like this video, please this live stream when YouTube uploads it, like, share, and subscribe, and then click on the bell so that when Quad B goes live or uploads new content, you will be notified. And Angel, have a good one. And if you yeah, if you have any questions or want to contact me, that would be quadb2059 That's QUADB2059 at gmail.com. Keep in mind, I do help with writing of proposals, and I will be hopefully trying to incorporate some other business related things into this channel, because there's a whole lot of folks talking about politics, gender wars, race wars, and all that, and I'm just trying to come up with something a little different. Because I figure there's enough folks talking about these other topics, so I would like to talk about something else. But here's the other thing: if you're watching this later on and you have a discussion you want me to have, please let me know. Please let me know. Like I said, I've got a little bit of a background. I'm not that young anymore. I got a little bit of a background, And obviously, I don't know everything. I'm just finding out some things about some people, about some people today, and in terms of folks' ideology and whatnot. But I'm not going to get into that right now. But I don't know everything. So then again, if you I say, show me a human being who stops learning, and I'll show you a human being who's dead. So, but in any case, that's it for now. Thanks for Angel. Thank you for watching, and thanks to anybody else. Thanks to anybody else out there who might be watching this, and thanks to you all who will watch this later. Let me know what you think about what I've said in the comment section below. Let me know if there's any specific topic you want me to follow up on. If look at my videos from for this channel, Quad B, and the last channel, which was Bamboozle Black Baby Boomer, which was where Quad B comes from. Please look at those videos and let me know if there's something you want me to talk about, because I'll be happy to look into it and address it for you. And that's pretty much it. So in any case, this is Quad B saying, as always, peace, deuces, and God bless. And see we will see you all later on.